My name is Victoria Winters. My journey is beginning. A journey that I hope will open the doors of life to me and link my past with my future. A journey that will bring me to a strange and dark place, to the edge of the sea, high atop Widow's Hill, a house called Collinwood.
You know, this channel might get a little away from games and reality shows. Not really, but a little bit. I want to dive into other things for this channel that I enjoy because, frankly, this is my channel and I can do whatever the I want. And we are going to start in the 1960s, 1966 to be exact, June of 1966. We're going back to Dark Shadows, the first 4 episodes. And what I'm going to try and do with the soap opera talks is we're going to go back in time of different soap operas that there are to watch. Now, you know, with soap operas, unfortunately, it's very hard to find episodes. For most soap operas in the 60s and 70s, it's also kind of hard to find episodes in the 80s even. But I'm going to try my best to find all I have to watch. I have a pretty big collection of my own that I saved over the years from YouTube. YouTube still has a lot from some shows, not all. But I am going to try and find the best soap opera of all time. We're going to track it for now on a monthly basis, starting in June of 1966 with Dark Shadows. And we're just going to try and go in order. We'll get to other soap operas eventually that there are to watch. It might be a little unfair at first because, you know, there's only certain episodes to watch from certain soap operas. And there's some soap operas from the 70s and 60s where there's nothing to watch. So they're unfortunately just going to not be a part of this list because I can't watch them. But I can start with Dark Shadows. You can watch the early episodes of Dark Shadows currently on Amazon Prime. This is pre-Vampire Barnabas Collins. And I have seen these pre-Barnabas episodes before. And they are pretty... yeah, well, they're good for the most part, but they can drag after a while. So, and I might actually have some controversial takes when we eventually get to Barnabas. But starting with these first 4 episodes, I found it was a very great start for this old classic soap opera because it's just so different than every other soap opera because it has that eerie feel to it. It is horror soap opera, supernatural. So I just think right off the bat it's just so different from every other soap opera, or almost every other soap opera.
The mistress of Collinwood, Elizabeth Collins Stoddard, has not left the estate since the disappearance of her husband, Paul Stoddard, 18 years ago.
Look at you standing at the window looking out in the night, waiting for someone who should never have been asked to come here in the first place.
She'll work out very well, I'm sure.
Doing what? Holding my little son's hand? Comforting you in the shutters creak? Elizabeth, with all our ghost, we don't need any strangers in this house, and you know it. Inviting problems...
The only problem I've invited is standing before me at this moment. I have asked Miss Winters to live here, and she'll stay.
Elizabeth's brother Roger and his troubled son David also reside in the Great House, along with Elizabeth's 18-year-old daughter, Carolyn.
And I appreciate the vibe. Dark Shadows is honestly a vibe because it's just so different from other soap operas. And we begin with Victoria Winters, who is traveling to Collinsport to work for the Collins family and kind of care for their asshole child, David. That is why she is going to a town. And this is the main story of the first 4 episodes, is Victoria coming to work for the Collins family. Everybody kind of warning her not to work for the Collins family, telling her to go back to New York because there seems to be a mystery surrounding the Collins family and the house that they live in.
Excuse me. We'll be in Collinsport in about 10 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Better have your baggage ready, miss. Only two of you getting off here. Won't be here long.
Doesn't sound like much of a place, does it?
This train hasn't made a regular stop there in maybe 5 years. That's what kind of a place it is. What are you going to Collinsport for anyway?
A job.
Mister, we'll be in Collinsport in 10 minutes. Mister?
An abandoned orphan who grew up in a New York foundling home, Vicky is hopeful that her new life in Collinsport will provide clues to her true identity. As she arrives in town, Vicky meets a mysterious man named Burke Devlin.
Excuse me. I wonder if you'd know if they have any taxis here.
I wouldn't know what they have here. Not anymore.
Well, how do they expect anyone to get to town?
Broomsticks and unicorn. And chauffeured cars. Can I give you a lift? I can take you to the hotel. You'll get a taxi there.
That's very kind of you, Mr.
Devlin. Burke Devlin.
I'm Victoria Winters.
Welcome to the beginning and the end of the world, Miss Winters.
I'm afraid I'm not going that far. Only to a house called Collinwood. Do you know it?
Yes, I do. Very well. Shall we go?
Advising Vicky to stay away from Collinwood, Burke suggests she return to New York immediately. Collinsport Inn waitress Maggie Evans also warns Vicky to avoid the Collins family.
Move in there. But take a good look in that mirror right now. Because in 2 months, that pretty hair of yours is going to be one glorious shade of gray.
You make it sound like some old English novel with rattling chains, ghosts in the corridors.
You think that's wrong? I could tell you things about that house that would rock you from here all the way back to the railroad station.
I'd rather not hear them.
The other main character outside of the Collins family themselves and Victoria is Burke Devlin, who is this mysterious character also back in town. He has problems with the Collins family.
I want to know everything you have on the Collins family. Everyone who lives in that house on the hill, and anyone who has anything to do with them.
Especially Roger Collins. Then we didn't get dive into that because this is like the first 4 episodes, because this debuted on, I believe, June 27th, 1966. So only 4 episodes in June of 1966 for Dark Shadows. I like their introduction to Burke Devlin. Like, he's clearly supposed to be a villain of sorts because he seems to have shady dealings and he's acting very strange to people who know him. And he's talking to people about Collinsport and, ghosts of Collinsport. So I find that character very interesting. And I just like how they tied these first 4 episodes together to introduce the Collins family, have this eerie music, have everybody warning Victoria not to go to this house, have Burke Devlin talking about the house being, ghosts being at the house.
I'm Victoria Winters. Is Miss...
Come in, Miss Winters.
Not planning to jump, are you? You wouldn't be the first, you know.
You're Roger Collins, aren't you?
Correct. Brother of Elizabeth, father of David.
I was lucky. A man got off the train with me. He got a taxi for me. He said he knew you.
Knew me?
Yes. Devlin.
What did you say?
Mr. Collins, please.
Did you say Devlin?
Yes?
Burke Devlin?
Yes?
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. You're Carolyn.
Mm-hmm. And you're Victoria. Or is it Vicky?
Either one doesn't make any difference, whichever you like.
Well, Vicky, on behalf of myself and my kooky family, I bid you welcome.
A stranger.
enters this house for the first time in 18 years. And she arrives on the same train as Burke Devlin. Are you trying to tell me that it's only a coincidence?
Well, I'm not trying to tell you anything. All I'm trying to tell you is that I never heard of Burke Devlin until he was kind enough to give me a ride from the station to the hotel. I don't know anything more than that, and now if you'll excuse me...
Miss Winters, wait.
For what? So you can shout at me, question me, accuse me of dishonesty? I've told you all I know. Now I'd like to go to my room to get some sleep because I may want to take that early train in the morning.
I thought these 4 episodes were a good setup. I gave it a 78, a score of a 78, a C+. I'm going to rate these to my liking. It's my channel, like I said earlier, and I hope there's soap opera fans out there that will join me in this journey as I go through trying to find the best soap opera of all time. The more I go along, the more you will catch on about how I'm going to do this to find the best soap opera. Right now, Dark Shadows is the first soap opera on the board with an average grade of 78%, a C+.